please go to our Twitter account, twitter.com/RealAlexJones. Send that address out to everybody and let them know that we're going to have live updates there as well, and that there on that site we have links to the free audio and video feeds for everybody. And our AM and FM affiliates across the country, they're obviously going to have their own local coverage, but if they would like to dial in and carry any of our coverage, any pieces of it or all of it, obviously our affiliates are more than welcome to pick up Gerald Celente, Bev Harris, Max Kaiser, Paul Craig Roberts, Lou Rockwell, Nomi Prinz, Webster Tarpley, and so many others that are going to be on with us 5 o'clock Central to midnight. And we'll probably go past midnight. I think 10 hours on air will be enough for me. And some of our other reporters will probably take over at that point. They'll also be reporting for us as well. We're going to be going back and forth between the 2 studios we've got. We're building more studios right now here at the InfoWars headquarters, here at the InfoWars campus. Believe it or not, we need them because we end up using the voiceover equipment, the video editing, all of it in the 2 studios. Even though we have other workstations, we just end up needing more spots to put out more because there's so much news and the globalists are moving on so many fronts. Every time we engage the globalist, we have victories. The problem is that we can't engage the enemy on every issue because they're moving on so many fronts. That's why you need to get your own YouTube channel. You need to go do your own local access show. You need to go get your own local radio show. And if you think it's hard, it's not as hard as you think. You need to go engage the globalist. None of us are going to defeat this evil by ourselves. But with God's help and taking action with what's right and having little fights with these people every day, we will move against them. You're never going to get anything done just sitting around. Now, again, I played parts of the clip. Here's the end part. It's up at Infowars.com. Obama, you know I tell the truth. And I want to read some of Paul Watson in my article that we put out that is so important up at PresentPlanet.com and Infowars.com. Obama, you know I tell the truth. And just caught in massive lies. In fact, that's a great headline Paul has. That's the headline I told him. But I think we need to add, Obama, you know I tell the truth. Fact check. We want to add fact check to that if we can. If Watson isn't listening, maybe Nemo or Adon can do that. I mean, he's caught red-handed in lies. I mean, I don't know how you get a strong enough headline here. We're going to play that clip one more time in case you just tuned in. Here's Obama crying, totally staged, right out of Oprah Winfrey. In the same speech, he started crying. I mean, this is absolutely asinine. I mean, sometimes I talk about abortion and I'll get a tear in my eye because I start thinking about my children and what if they would have been aborted. It really shakes me up. People say, oh, that's fake. But let me tell you, Obama doing this, maybe it's real. Maybe he's crying thinking he's about to get kicked out. Because, again, I don't like Mitt Romney either. But Mitt Romney, this is the one reason I don't hate people that end up voting for Mitt Romney. Because I understand you're hitting the reset button. I didn't hate people that voted for Obama. I said, I hope he does something better. It's like a man who's being held underwater. You just want to get to the surface. Spiritually, that's how this feels. Because I started to get a lung full of water yesterday morning and had to get up to the top real quick. It was kind of that panicked feeling. And I thought, man, that's how I feel every day deep down. It's kind of a controlled panic. That's what you have on the show. I think it's why we're so successful is because we're real and people are picking up on the vibe that you're feeling as well. It's not fear. It's not even anger. It's, I want out of this. I want my leg out of this bear trap, okay? I want this to stop. I want freedom. I want prosperity. Obama's not facing re-election if he gets re-elected. And my gut tells me Mitt Romney and the people that run him are dangerous. But my gut tells me that the Obama folks are going to go for a full takeover if they get in. And maybe that's what has to happen. Maybe that's good. Again, just whatever happens, I'm going to do my best exposing these people. Here's this clip one more time.
You may not agree with every policy I've put forward. There have been times where, by the way, Michelle doesn't agree with everything I do. You may be frustrated sometimes with the pace of change. I'm frustrated too sometimes. But you know where I stand. You know what I believe. You know I tell the truth.
All Our TriCaster that we use to do video is quite a piece of equipment. So it started playing another clip before that. We're going to have to get something else. And that's part of the studio upgrade that we're doing right now. But that means we actually have to do it. We actually have to get something in there that works. This is a big show. 3 million people a day. We kind of just, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. And I guess the buck stops with me. So it's really my fault. And I will pledge to you it's not going to continue. All right. Again, you just heard Obama right there saying that he doesn't lie to you, that, you know, that he always tells the truth. So we're going to go to break, and I'm going to come back since you heard that, and we are going to get to, on record in this Paul Joseph Watson, Alex Jones article, what he's really done. Then we're going to get into the latest with the hurricane and the latest with the election and all sorts of calls for more violence. We could see some pretty wild stuff tomorrow if Obama is not elected. It's all rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, but it is quite a spectacle to behold. Stay with us.
Every 4 years, the United States of America hears the drumbeat of billions of campaign dollar attack ads, meaningless debate with empty analysis and poll after poll after poll. This can only mean one thing. It's time to pick our globalist puppet leader.
We're going to be left with a choice of a lesser of two evils. And I'm saying I don't go out with evils, I don't deal with evils, I don't do business with evils, I don't hang out with evils. Why would I vote for an evil to run my life or run my country?
Will it be globalist puppet A or puppet B?
They continue to vote for these Democrats and Republicans, the people that are wrecking our country, and yet they still vote for them.
Unlike North Korea and China, we Americans have the illusion of choice this November 6th.
I think that a lot of votes are going to be stolen.
I don't know how you could possibly have voter fraud when your son owns the voting machines.
1.4 million votes were lost, spoiled as they call them in the biz, through these so-called glitches.
The choice is not up to you. Which management team from Slavery Incorporated will run our country into oblivion for the next 4 years? Tune in to Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.tv this Tuesday, November 6th, as another meaningless pageant is played out.
So Obama, he says, you know, I tell the truth. Yeah, the attack on Libya and Syria is peace bombing. The drones radically expanded is peace bombing. The waterboarding and torture is peaceful. The hiring nothing but lobbyists when you promise not to, that's not lying. During a campaign event in New Hampshire last night, Barack Obama told an audience of his supporters, you know, I tell the truth. Here are 10 flagrant examples of where Obama has not told the truth and, in fact, has lied to cover up his own administration's failings or as a deliberate act of deception. As part of the 2008 campaign pledge, Obama promised to close down Guantanamo Bay. The Obama administration not only failed to close the infamous prison camp, they expanded its use to a larger torture camp to actually create al-Qaeda patsies. Number 2, last year after campaigning to protect habeas corpus, again, he campaigned to protect it, Obama promised not to sign the National Defense Authorization Act with its provisions for the indefinite detention of Americans, yet put his signature on the bill in the dead of night on New Year's Eve. Indeed, it was Obama administration itself which argued for the removal of the language that would have protected Americans from the provisions, and then had them reinstituted after a court had struck them down. He's still fighting to keep it in place while claiming he was against it. Just total deception, counting on you not paying attention and being stupid. Number 3, Obama has lied time and time again about Operation Fast and Furious, the program which saw guns delivered directly into the hands of Mexican drug lords. Obama told a national television station the program had begun under Bush, when in fact it began under Obama's watch in October of 2009. And we have links to all those documents. Number 4, emails sent shortly after the incident, as well as CBS 60 Minutes interview from September 12th, prove that the White House knew the assault on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi was a premeditated terrorist attack by guys they'd hired. Yet the administration spent over a week claiming the incident was a protest against a YouTube video. Number 5, as part of a campaign pitch, Obama promised to not use signing statements as a way of doing an end run around Congress. Obama has issued no less than 19 signing statements since he took office. In 2010, Obama said, "We've excluded lobbyists from policymaking jobs or seats on federal boards or commissions. Not only have dozens of lobbyists had regular access to the White House, but Obama has hired over a dozen lobbyists, breaking a campaign promise to ensure that lobbyists don't find a way into the White House." Number 7, as part of efforts to bypass congressional authorization of the war on Libya, Obama gave a speech in which he promised there would be no boots on the ground in Libya. That's a quote. The promise was broken within 4 uniformed military personnel were sent to Libya, in addition to widespread reports that U.S. Special Forces had arrived in Libya months before the overthrow of Gaddafi. Yeah, it was actually thousands of U.S. troops, but Paul just links to one article. Under Obama, number 8, under Obamacare, Obama claimed that there would be no state-funded abortions. It later emerged that federally funded abortions would be expanded under Obamacare. And yeah, he's going to make churches pay for him. That's so sick. Number 9, in 2008, Obama promised no more illegal wiretapping of American citizens. Just months after he took office, Obama expanded Bush's warrantless wiretapping program to journalists and others. The invasiveness of illegal wiretapping is worse under Obama than it was under Bush, as Chris Hedges has pointed out. Number 10, before the passage of Obamacare, Obama claimed the bill was absolutely not a tax increase on all Americans. When the Supreme Court rubber-stamped Obamacare, they were only able to do so by classifying it as a mandated tax. Yeah, the IRS runs it. Otherwise, it would have been unconstitutional. Tell the truth, Obama doesn't know the meaning of the word. Thank you for joining us. I'm Alex Jones. This is part of our continued live coverage of the globalist selection of president 2012. It doesn't mean that people shouldn't vote. It helps to expose fraud in different areas. It helps to sometimes even not have fraud in some areas and get people into office who are patriots. But we are going to be taking calls throughout the broadcast today. David Icke's coming up. We also have Richard Belzer coming on. And then, of course, I'll be back on tonight, 5 to midnight, with a special radio/TV transmission, 5 to midnight Central. And you can find all that information at Infowars.com, the free audio streams, the video streams, all of it. But right now, let's go to some calls.
Hey, how's it going, Alex?
Worldwide broadcast. How you doing today?
Good, good. Just to get what you're just talking about the races, they're failing horribly in Florida with that. I was just out front smoking a cigarette, and a black guy lives just down the street came up and started talking to me.
Well, yeah, most people get along fine. That's why the media is trying to create all this racial division. Did you try to vote? We opened the phones up for folks to see if they had any problems, anomalies voting.
No, I'm not going to vote this year. It's just a crowning of a new globalist king. There's no point. I just think it's all rigged anyway.
Well, you know, I can see not voting for one of the 2 big candidates, but there's still elections locally, and that's where we need to get in there and get patriots in my view. But thank you so much for calling. Let's jam in one more here. Let's talk to Vern in Wisconsin. Vern, did you go out and vote? Did you have any problems?
Yes, I did, Alex, and I'm a blind person, and I'll have to talk to someone later because I know you don't have much time, but I went to vote, and I used a Braille ballot because I refused to use the voting machines. Every time I used them, the handicap voting machines broke down. Now, I went to vote, and usually my Braille ballot is there. I had the lady at the polling place talked to the city, and well, she actually talked to the city before I got there, and she was real upset because it wasn't there. We don't know what happened to it. I talked to the city clerk, and 6 years ago, somebody had called up and said that I did not want my Braille ballot. Well, when I called up and complained about it, they told me to drop the whole issue, that this should not even be looked into. I should shut up. I have not shut up about it. This morning I get there. The Braille ballot is not there. We don't know what happened to it. And I want to be able to keep in contact with you so that I can update you as to what's happening with this whole situation. There's more to this story than I know that you have time to talk about, but I have no idea where that ballot is. And I felt that I should call and let you know about it.
Yes, sir. We're going to continue to track all these different anomalies with calls and more. Thank you so much for calling. We are covering the 2012 presidential election and all the other elections. The selection, no one can deny the globalists own both the horses, the big horses in the big race for president, but they don't control every other person running for Congress or the Senate. And we're going to be tracking this here today, but also back tonight with free audio and video streams. Infowars.com, Infowars Nightly News, continual coverage, special transmission from 5 past midnight. So all total today, I'll be on air more than 10 hours. And then we have our other reporters and crew will probably push past midnight as we track all this, because even though they're puppets, we still have to track this because they're trying to get a race war going. I said that 2 weeks ago, and I hope we can stop it. And I think we will be able to, because people are wise. You know, we've all got basically, you know, spirits, and you've got good people, you've got bad people. You've got people that love good, you got people that love evil. You've really got, you know, different types of mindsets and souls out there. It's not about race or color. And it is despicable to see people like Michael Moore saying if Romney wins, it's a fraud, burn down U.S. cities. He puts out videos showing seniors saying that and then saying in Spanish, yes, we can. You've got Bill Maher saying that if Romney is elected, that blacks should go out and find and attack white people. And that's meant to create racial division. That's classic divide and conquer. We're going to talk about that with David Icke, who's been the head of the Green Party in England, BBC news reporter, sports reporter. He can certainly expose how they all have the Tories and Labor, Republican, Democrat, conservatives, social democrats in Germany. Same story, different country. But here's some of the headlines. Thousands of public housing tenants struggle to survive without heat, water, and power a full week after Hurricane Sandy, New York Daily News. And government's not helping them. It's churches and local New Yorkers. And we've had callers about this, but it's also in the news, confirming that New Yorkers that did get prepared are going in and helping people in the projects. So there you go. And that's got to make MSNBC angry. That's why they're not covering it. They hate to see whites and blacks and others helping each other. So continuing here, Sandy price gouging probed, $7 loaf of bread, $10 box of matches, NBC New York. There are some people who are cashing in on it, though. Continuing, New York City residents still stuck in neutral over gas shortages and aftermath of Hurricane Sandy. They're now, 7-8 days into this, and government can't or won't help them, especially in areas where the public's been disarmed. There is looting. There are attacks. Sandy victims beg for help. The Weekly Standard, an amazing compilation video that I saw this morning where people are just begging and pleading, and no help is coming. Continuing, Giuliani says FEMA as bad as Katrina. Yeah, no doubt about that. And people begging government to protect them. Poor folks, more than half the population, they estimate, made no preparation. Manhattan garbage days cut as sanitation workers head to Sandy-stricken boroughs. So government shutting off the services in other areas to go try to dig folks out. Grid down collapse. Hard assets soar in value. Another report we've got up at prisonplanet.com. Continuing here, Chris Christie institutes gas rationing system in New Jersey. See, all government can do is take control of things and then ration it. That's just some of the reports that we have, breaking that down. And then we're going to David Icke. Let me just hit a few of the election news stories, and we'll cover this first with him and then get into the big geopolitical developments. Obama supporters mark election day with more threats to kill Romney. Are these young people the vanguard of hope and change? And again, you've got all the Democratic Party operatives trying to invoke racism and trying to stir folks up into burning down their own neighborhoods. Not a good idea. Thousands of shocking threats of violence by Obama supporters on the eve of the election. Another article from the Economic Collapse blog breaking all of that down. Obama campaign to supporters, don't panic over early exit polls. Yeah, don't worry, the electronic voting machines will save you. Doesn't matter, though. Again, it's rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. But if it is contested, that's when you're going to see the social unrest. Battleground tracking poll, dead heat, Politico. Again, Romney's ahead in most of these battleground states, but don't think that that means he's really going to win. Who knows? We're going to find out. Even if it is a staged horse race, it's still interesting. Jay-Z substitutes mitt for bitch while rapping at Obama rally. Excuse that term. Des Moines store near Obama rally has message for the Secret Service. We do not consent to our store being searched. It's not that there's anything illegal in here. We just employ several Colombian prostitutes and don't want to tempt you guys. Yeah, since when does the Secret Service sometimes come into whole neighborhoods and want to search everyone for the stupid puppet president? The whole idea is to make you think the buck stops with the president. Bob Dylan predicts Obama in a landslide. We'll get to more of this later in the hour, ahead of Richard Belzer joining us to give us his take on what's happening. He thinks if it's a contested or close election, there's going to be civil unrest as well. TV movie star, also longtime listener, and author writing about government cover-ups and false flags. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.